My dear friends, time, such a small word, yet the most powerful currency in the universe. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose fame and rebuild it. But time, once gone, it never comes back. Isn't it funny? We have clocks on every wall, but no one truly knows how to use time wisely. You see, success isn't about having more time. It's about using the time you already have more wisely. Let me share something that will change how you look at every second of your life. Value your time like it's gold. You know, my friends, there's something fascinating about how we treat the things we can measure versus the things we can't. If someone were to give you a gold coin, you'd probably lock it safely, wouldn't you? You'd never toss it around carelessly. You'd protect it, you'd admire it, you'd even plan how to use it wisely so it multiplies in value. But isn't it strange that the one thing far more precious than gold, our time, is what we waste the most? Every morning, when the sun rises, life gives you 400 seconds. That's your daily deposit, your personal treasure. No one else can use it. No one else can save it for you. And at midnight, whatever you didn't use simply disappears. Imagine if a bank deposited 400 in your account each day and took back whatever you didn't spend. Would you just let it sit there unused? Never. You'd find a way to make every rupee count. That's exactly what time is. It's life's most generous but strictest currency. But how do most of us spend it? We spend hours scrolling endlessly through our phones, watching random videos, gossiping, worrying about what others think. We waste our golden hours comparing our lives with others instead of building our own. Then, one day, we look back and realize that what we called just 10 minutes turned into years of missed opportunities. The tragedy is not that life is short, it's that we waste so much of it. Think about this: when you lose money, you can earn it back. When you lose an opportunity, sometimes another one appears. But when you lose time, it's gone forever. You can't rewind the clock or buy back yesterday. Yet so often we treat our time as though we have an unlimited supply. We say, I'll do it tomorrow. But tomorrow is a luxury not promised to anyone. Let me share a small story. There was once a young man who visited his grandfather. The old man was sitting quietly, looking out of the window. The young man asked, "Grandpa, why do you just sit and stare? Don't you get bored?" The old man smiled and said, "When I was your age, I was so busy running after things that I never took time to see the beauty around me. Now that I'm old, I realize I had everything I needed. I just didn't have the time to notice it." The young man thought for a moment and realized that his grandfather wasn't just talking about lost time, he was talking about lost life. We all have moments like that, don't we? Moments when we realize that time we thought was small actually held something big. A conversation we never had, a hug we didn't give, a dream we didn't chase, a skill we didn't learn because we thought we'd do it later. Later often becomes never. Look at how we treat our mornings. Many people wake up and immediately check their phones. Before the day has even begun, their mind is filled with other people's lives. What if instead you spent the first 10 minutes in silence, breathing, praying, thinking, setting your intentions? Those 10 minutes could shape your entire day. The way you spend your time determines the quality of your life. If your time is scattered, your life will feel scattered. If your time is focused, your life will feel meaningful. Let's take another simple example. Imagine a student who studies for 1 focused hour every day, while another spends 4 hours half-heartedly studying with distractions. Who do you think grows faster? It's not about the quantity of time, it's about the quality of attention within that time. A single moment of deep focus can achieve more than hours of restless activity. Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to achieve so much while others struggle despite working hard? The secret lies in how they value their time. Successful people don't necessarily have more hours in the day, they just understand the value of each one. They guard their time like a treasure because they know it's the foundation of everything else: success, happiness, relationships, health. Let me tell you something interesting: time and respect go hand in hand. When you respect your time, others begin to respect it too. When you value your own hours, people around you stop wasting them. But if you don't respect your time, you'll find yourself constantly pulled into other people's priorities. You'll end up saying yes to things that don't serve your purpose simply because you don't realize how precious your hours truly are. Think of your time as a garden. Every minute you spend is like a seed you plant. Some seeds will grow into beautiful trees of wisdom, success, and joy. Others, like hours wasted in negativity or procrastination, will only grow weeds that choke your dreams. So, ask yourself daily, am I planting seeds that will nourish me tomorrow, or weeds that will suffocate me? One day, all of us will look back, and in that quiet reflection, we won't regret the money we didn't make, but the time we didn't use well. We won't regret the days we worked hard, but we will regret the hours we wasted being distracted, ungrateful, or unaware. Life is not measured by years, but by moments truly lived. If you want to change your life, start by changing how you spend your time. Wake up earlier. Use those extra minutes to grow, to think, to move towards your dream. Schedule your priorities instead of prioritizing your schedule. Even 5 minutes spent wisely, reading a meaningful page, listening to something inspiring, calling someone you love, can shift your energy entirely. You see, time doesn't demand perfection. It simply asks for awareness. It asks you to remember that every minute you live is a minute less in your account. The question is, what are you buying with it? Are you buying peace, wisdom, and love? Or are you spending it on worry, fear, and meaningless business? My friends, value your time like gold, because that's exactly what it is: rare, beautiful, and irreplaceable. Once you begin to treat your minutes as sacred, you'll find that your life becomes richer, more purposeful, and more peaceful. Time doesn't need to be managed, it needs to be honored. So, starting today, guard your time fiercely. Give it to the things and people that truly matter. Don't waste it proving your worth to others. Don't spend it chasing temporary pleasures. Spend it building a life that you'll look back on with gratitude, not regret. Because when your last moment comes, and it will, you won't ask for more gold, more fame, or more possessions. You'll only wish for more time, and the best way to honor that wish is to use the time you have now wisely, beautifully, and purposefully. Invest in growth, not just goals. You see, my friends, in today's world, everyone talks about goals. We set goals for our careers, for our fitness, for our finances. We want to achieve things, to reach milestones, to tick boxes on a list. But have you ever met someone who achieved their goal and still felt empty inside? That's because success that's only built on goals can be shallow, temporary, and exhausting. Growth, on the other hand, changes who you are, not just what you have. When you focus on growth, success becomes a natural outcome, not a desperate chase. Let me explain it with something simple. Imagine two people planting trees. The first one says, "I just want fruits." So he plants a tree, but every day he checks for fruit. He waters it sometimes, complains sometimes, and one day, when the results don't come fast enough, he gives up. The second one says, "I want to learn how to grow things." So he studies the soil, learns the right amount of water, and takes care of the plant daily. He enjoys the process. The funny thing, the second man not only gets fruits, he gets a forest because he learned how to grow. That's the difference between chasing goals and investing in growth. When you focus only on goals, your happiness depends on the result. When you focus on growth, your happiness lies in the journey. Goals are destinations, growth is direction. One day you might reach a goal, but if you stop growing, you stop living. Think about it, a river keeps flowing. It bends, twists, moves over rocks, but it never stops. That's why it stays alive. The moment it stops moving, it becomes stagnant water. People are the same. The moment we stop learning, evolving, and improving, we stop living, even if we're still breathing. I remember meeting a man who told me, "I worked hard for 20 years to get a big promotion, and now that I have it, I don't feel fulfilled." I asked him, "Why do you think that is?" He said, "Because I was so focused on the position, I forgot to become a better person along the way." You see, that's the mistake so many people make. They climb the ladder of success, only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. Growth means making sure that as you rise higher, you also grow deeper, in wisdom, in kindness, in understanding. Growth doesn't always come from comfort. Sometimes it's the challenges that shape you the most. Think about a butterfly. When it's inside the cocoon, it struggles to break free. That struggle builds its wings. If someone tries to help it by cutting open the cocoon, the butterfly may come out, but it will never fly because it didn't grow strong enough. Life works the same way. The difficulties you face are not there to destroy you, they're there to develop you. When you see pain as a part of growth, you stop running from it. You start learning from it. In our daily lives, growth hides in small, simple choices. When you wake up and decide to read a few pages instead of scrolling your phone, that's growth. When you choose to listen instead of argue, that's growth. When you control your anger instead of reacting immediately, that's growth. Growth is not always dramatic, it's often quiet, invisible, and internal. But it compounds over time. Those tiny improvements make you unrecognizable, not to others, but to yourself. Let's take an example of learning a musical instrument. At first, it's awkward. The notes sound wrong, your fingers hurt, and you feel like giving up. But if you keep practicing a little each day, something magical happens. One day, your fingers start moving naturally, your ear recognizes the rhythm, and suddenly, what once frustrated you now flows effortlessly. That's the beauty of growth. It's slow, it's steady, but it's permanent. Goals give you deadlines, growth gives you transformation. You might ask, but what if I fail? My friend, failure is not the opposite of growth, it's a part of it. Failure teaches you what success never can. A goal might fail, but growth never does. When you fail, but you learn, you still win. Every mistake becomes a stepping stone, every setback a hidden lesson. When Thomas Edison was asked how it felt to fail 1,000 times while inventing the light bulb, he said, "I didn't fail 1,000 times. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work." That's the mindset of growth. It transforms failure into feedback. Investing in growth also means nurturing your inner world. Many people work so hard to build an impressive life outside, a big house, a luxurious car, a powerful title, but neglect the person they're becoming inside. Growth means developing qualities like patience, empathy, and gratitude. Because in the end, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. You can have everything and still feel poor if your mind is restless. But if you grow your peace, even a simple life feels rich. Let's think of a farmer again. When he plants seeds, he doesn't scream at them, "Grow faster!" He nurtures them daily with care, faith, and consistency. He knows growth takes time. Similarly, in our lives, we must be patient. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It's not about instant results. It's about consistent progress. A plant grows silently, but one day it stands tall enough to give shade to others. That's how growth feels. It starts personal but ends up impacting many lives. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't just ask yourself, "What do I want to achieve?" Ask, "Who do I want to become?" Because if you grow into the kind of person who deserves success, success will chase you automatically. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, and your goals will naturally unfold. Growth doesn't promise speed, but it promises sustainability. It gives you strength that no achievement can take away. At the end of the day, remember these goals can make you rich, but growth will make you wise. Goals can make you powerful, but growth will make you peaceful. Goals might get you to the top, but growth will help you stay there with grace. Invest in growth, and you'll never stop evolving. And when you look back at your life, you won't just see a list of accomplishments. You'll see a story of transformation, of becoming someone truly extraordinary. Because in the journey of life, the real success is not in reaching the destination, it's in how much you grow along the way. Learn the power of saying no. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Just 2 letters. Yet for many of us, it's the hardest word to speak. We say yes when we want to say no because we fear disappointing people. We say yes out of guilt, out of habit, or simply because we don't want to seem rude. But here's the truth, my friends. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you are unconsciously saying no to something important. Every unnecessary yes steals a piece of your peace. There's a beautiful quote that says, "You can't pour from an empty cup." And that's exactly what happens when you keep saying yes to everyone and everything. You drain yourself emotionally and mentally until one day you realize you've been living other people's lives instead of your own. You can be busy all day, yet achieve nothing that truly matters to you. Isn't that the story of so many people today? They're constantly running, constantly available, yet always tired and unfulfilled. Let's look at a small example from everyday life. Imagine a woman who's trying to focus on her dream project. Every time she sits down to work, her phone buzzes. Friends call her for casual gossip, relatives ask for favors, someone invites her to an event she doesn't even want to attend. And because she doesn't want to offend anyone, she keeps saying yes. Weeks pass, and her project remains unfinished. One day she realizes she has spent her precious time living everyone's priorities but her own. That moment hits her hard. She understands that saying yes to everything is not kindness, it's self-neglect. Learning to say no is not about being selfish. It's about being self-aware. You are not rejecting people when you say no. You are protecting your energy, your focus, and your purpose. Saying no creates space for what truly matters, for growth, for peace, for creativity. It's like cleaning a room full of clutter. Once you remove the unnecessary, what remains becomes valuable. Think about how many times you've said yes and immediately regretted it. Maybe you agreed to a task you didn't have time for, or accepted an outing when you just needed rest. The moment you said yes, you felt uneasy. That's your intuition speaking. That discomfort is your inner wisdom telling you that your yes didn't come from peace. It came from pressure. But the problem is, we often silence that inner voice because we're afraid of what others will think. We live in a world that glorifies business. If you're always available, always helping, always doing, people say you're hardworking. But if you pause, set boundaries, or refuse unnecessary things, people may label you as arrogant or unhelpful. Yet, the truth is the opposite. When you protect your time and energy, you can actually serve the world more meaningfully. A burnt-out person cannot inspire anyone. A drained heart cannot love deeply. A scattered mind cannot create anything beautiful. Let me share a small story. There was once a monk who lived peacefully on a mountain. One day, a group of villagers came to him with endless problems. He spent hours listening and helping day after day. Slowly, he became exhausted. His meditation stopped, his joy faded, and he began to feel restless. One morning, he decided to climb even higher, seeking solitude. When a young man asked, "Why did you stop helping the villagers?" The monk replied, "When my own lamp was burning dim, how could I light someone else's path?" That is the essence of saying no. It's about keeping your lamp burning bright, so that when you do say yes, it's with full heart and purpose. We must learn to say no gracefully, not with anger, not with guilt, but with clarity and love. When someone asks for something that doesn't align with your goals or values, you can simply say, "I wish I could, but I have other priorities right now." It's not rude, it's responsible. You are choosing your truth over your fear. Let's bring it closer to our daily life again. Imagine you have a friend who constantly pulls you into gossip or negativity. Every time you meet, you leave feeling drained. Yet, you keep meeting them because you don't want to hurt their feelings. What you don't realize is that by saying yes to that negativity, you're saying no to your peace. You are giving away your energy to something that doesn't help you grow. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do, both for yourself and for others, is to say no, because when you say no to toxicity, you say yes to peace. When you say no to distraction, you say yes to direction. There's also another side to this. Sometimes, saying no to others means saying yes to yourself. Yes to your rest, yes to your dreams, yes to your healing. So many people live their whole lives trying to please everyone, and at the end, they realize that in trying to make everyone else happy, they forgot their own joy. You cannot live a meaningful life if you spend it constantly trying to meet everyone's expectations. Learning to say no also builds respect. When people see that you value your time, they begin to value it too. When they realize you have boundaries, they approach you with clarity instead of demands. Your no teaches others to treat you with respect. And most importantly, it teaches you to respect yourself. Remember, you have limited energy each day, like a battery that drains with use. You can spend that energy on distractions, or you can save it for your purpose. You can waste it saying yes to everything, or you can direct it toward what truly fulfills you. The choice is always yours. So, my friends, don't be afraid of the word no. It is not a wall, it's a filter. It keeps the unnecessary out and lets the essential in. The more you use it wisely, the more peaceful and powerful your life becomes. Say no to the things that steal your time, to people who drain your spirit, to habits that hold you back. Because every time you say no to the wrong thing, you create space to say yes to the right one, to your purpose, your peace, and your growth. In the end, remember this: your time is your life, your energy is your power, and your no is your protection. Don't use it sparingly. Use it wisely, lovingly, and fearlessly. Because when you learn to say no to what doesn't matter, your life begins to say yes to everything that truly does. Live with purpose, not pressure. It's such a simple line, but it holds the secret to peace, success, and fulfillment. So many of us today are running, but few of us truly know where we're going. We wake up, rush to work, complete tasks, attend meetings, scroll through screens, fall into bed exhausted, and call it a day. But have you ever paused to ask yourself, why am I doing all this? If the reason isn't clear, then what you're experiencing isn't purpose. It's pressure. Pressure is like a silent storm. It keeps you moving, but not necessarily in the right direction. Purpose, on the other hand, is like a compass. It doesn't rush you, but it guides you. There's a difference between being busy and being fulfilled. You can be running all day, yet feel lost. But when you live with purpose, even one small step feels meaningful. Take an example from everyday life. Imagine two people climbing a mountain. The first one is doing it because everyone else is climbing. It looks glamorous. It seems like success. The second one climbs because they love the view from the top, the sense of achievement, the challenge. The first one feels tired, frustrated, and compares their pace to others. The second one feels alive with every step. Both are climbing, both are exerting effort, but one is driven by pressure, the other by purpose. The difference isn't in the activity, it's in the intention behind it. In life, we often let pressure decide our direction. Society says, by this age, you should be married. By that age, you should have a house. You must be earning this much to be successful. And we blindly follow these voices, forgetting our own. We trade authenticity for approval. But purpose doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. It's not about what others expect of you. It's about what your heart truly wants to create, to give, to become. There was once a young boy who told his father he wanted to be a musician. But everyone in the family said, "That's not practical. Be a doctor, be an engineer, that's what success looks like." Out of pressure, he followed their advice. Years later, he had a stable career, but inside he felt hollow. One day, while walking past a street performer, he stopped and listened. Tears filled his eyes. It wasn't jealousy, it was realization. The music he had buried inside him was still alive, still waiting to be heard. That's what pressure does. It makes you forget your own song. But purpose helps you sing it fearlessly, even if the world doesn't clap. Living with purpose doesn't mean your life becomes easy. It means your life becomes meaningful. When you know why you're doing something, every struggle feels worthwhile. A teacher who teaches because she loves shaping young minds feels joy, even in exhaustion. But a teacher who's there just for a paycheck feels drained, no matter how much she earns. Purpose turns pain into power, while pressure turns power into pain. We often mistake pressure for motivation. You might think, pressure pushes me to perform. And yes, sometimes it does, but only temporarily. Pressure is like caffeine. It gives you a quick boost but drains you afterward. Purpose, on the other hand, is like a steady flame. It burns consistently, no matter how strong the winds blow. It doesn't depend on deadlines, competition, or comparison. It flows naturally from your values and your vision. Look around you. The most peaceful people are not necessarily the richest or the most famous. They're the ones who wake up with clarity. They know why they're doing what they're doing. They don't measure life by achievements, but by alignment. They might not have everything, but they have direction. And direction brings peace. Pressure often comes from the fear of being left behind. You see someone else succeeding, and suddenly you feel you're not enough. You start running faster, trying to catch up. But here's the irony: that person might also be running under pressure, looking at someone else. It's an endless race, and nobody wins. But when you live with purpose, you stop comparing your path with others. You realize life is not a competition, it's a contribution. Everyone has a unique role to play. Let's take a simple example: a garden. Each flower blooms in its own time. The sunflower doesn't try to compete with the rose. The rose doesn't envy the lotus. They just grow towards the sun, fulfilling their purpose. And because of that, the garden becomes beautiful. Imagine if we humans lived that way, focusing on growth, not comparison. That's what living with purpose looks like. Even in the workplace, people who work with purpose stand out. You can feel it in their energy. They're not just clocking in hours, they're contributing meaning. They care about the outcome, not just the income. They don't need constant supervision because their motivation comes from within. That kind of person inspires others without even trying. Sometimes life throws challenges your way, setbacks, losses, disappointments. If you live under pressure, these moments crush you. But if you live with purpose, they refine you. You understand that every difficulty carries a lesson. You don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" You ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That's the mindset of a purposeful life. I once met a woman who had gone through a tough divorce. She said, "For a long time, I felt like my life was over. But then I started volunteering at a local school. Helping those children gave me joy I had forgotten existed. That became my purpose. You see, purpose doesn't always have to be grand, it can be simple. It's not about changing the world, it's about changing someone's world, even if that someone is you. When you live with purpose, you stop living for validation. You no longer need to prove your worth to others. You realize that peace is not found in perfection, it's found in alignment. The moment your actions match your heart's values, you feel light, alive, and free. So, my dear friends, don't let pressure drive your life. Don't let the noise of expectations drown the voice of your heart. Slow down, reflect, and ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What makes me feel alive? Because when you find that, you'll discover that life isn't a race to be won, but a journey to be lived. When you live with purpose, every day feels like a gift, not a burden. You wake up excited, you work with passion, and you rest with peace. And at the end of your life, you won't count how many things you achieved. You'll smile knowing you lived every moment with meaning. Because pressure fades, but purpose lasts forever. Spend time with the right people. This single choice can shape your entire destiny. You see, life is like a garden, and the people you spend your time with are the seeds you plant. Some people bloom in your life, adding color, fragrance, and joy. Others drain your energy like weeds that grow fast but suffocate the flowers. The truth is, no matter how strong or talented you are, your environment influences you more than you realize. You become the reflection of the company you keep. If you walk with the wise, you'll grow wiser. If you walk with the careless, your direction will blur. Think about your phone for a second. If you keep too many unnecessary apps running in the background, your battery drains faster. Similarly, when you spend too much time around negative, complaining, or uninspired people, your mental battery weakens. You might not notice it immediately, but soon your enthusiasm fades, your confidence drops, and your dreams start to feel smaller. That's the silent power of influence. The people around you either lift you up or pull you down. There's no neutral ground. Let's take an example. Imagine two friends who start at the same point in life. One surrounds himself with people who gossip, criticize, and waste time. They meet every evening to complain about life, but do nothing to change it. The other friend chooses a different circle, people who discuss ideas, plan goals, read and learn. 5 years later, their lives look completely different. The first friend feels stuck, blaming fate. The second one has grown, evolved, and created a life of purpose. The difference wasn't intelligence or luck. It was association. We often underestimate how contagious energy is. Spend 1 hour with someone who's constantly complaining, and you'll feel heavy. Spend 1 hour with someone optimistic, and suddenly, the world feels brighter. That's why it's important to choose who you give your time to. You don't need hundreds of friends. You just need a few who believe in you, challenge you, and help you grow. It's better to sit alone in silence than to sit among those who drain your peace. There's a story of a young eagle who was raised among chickens. Every day it scratched the ground, eating grains, clucking like the others, thinking that was life. One day, another eagle flew by and said, You are not meant to live like this. You were born to soar. But the young eagle refused to believe it. It said, I can't fly that high. I'm just a chicken. You see, it wasn't the eagle's wings that were weak. It was its surroundings that made it forget who it was. That's what happens when you spend too much time with the wrong people. They convince you that your wings are useless. But when you spend time with dreamers, doers, and believers, they remind you that you can fly in everyday life. We all have these two kinds of people. There are those who drain your joy. They always find a problem for every solution. They see clouds in every silver lining. And then there are those who inspire you. They see light even in darkness. They remind you of your strength when you forget it yourself. Pay attention to how you feel after meeting someone. If you feel drained, tense, or small, that's your intuition warning you. If you feel energized, peaceful, and motivated, that's a sign you're in the right company. Sometimes, the most courageous thing you can do is to distance yourself from people who no longer align with your growth. It's not about arrogance, it's about self-respect. You don't have to cut them off harshly, just quietly limit your time. Fill that space with people who make you better, not bitter. Relationships should water your soul, not wither your spirit. Imagine a plant kept in the shade. No matter how much you water it, it won't grow until it's moved into the sunlight. In the same way, no matter how much effort you put into improving yourself, if you keep surrounding yourself with negativity, your potential won't flourish. The right people act as sunlight. They help you grow faster, stronger, and brighter. But remember, spending time with the right people doesn't only mean finding them, it also means becoming one. Are you the kind of person who uplifts others or the kind who drains them? Do your words bring light or cast shadows? When you focus on being kind, supportive, and inspiring, you attract the same energy back. Like positive people attract positive company. Let's think of a workplace example. Two colleagues face the same challenge at work, a difficult project. One says, "This is impossible. I'm done." The other says, "It's tough, but let's figure it out." Guess who becomes the leader? The one with the attitude that spreads hope instead of fear. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel capable. So if you want to attract strong people into your life, become one yourself. Be the light that brightens others, and your circle will begin to glow. And sometimes you'll find that the right people aren't the loudest or the most popular. They're the quiet ones who truly care. They might not flatter you, but they'll tell you the truth. They'll challenge you when you're wrong, celebrate you when you're right, and stand by you when the world walks away. Those are the people worth your time. Genuine relationships are not built on convenience, but on connection. There will be moments when you outgrow certain friendships, and that's okay. Growth often means moving to a new level, and not everyone is meant to climb with you. Don't feel guilty for choosing peace over people pleasing. Your journey is sacred, and not everyone will understand it. The ones who truly care will support you, even from afar, as you move through life. Choose your company the way you choose your food. What you consume shapes your body. Who you spend time with shapes your soul. If you fill your mind with negativity, doubt, and fear, your spirit becomes heavy. But if you surround yourself with inspiration, wisdom, and love, your spirit becomes unstoppable. So, my friends, look around you and ask, who adds value to my life? Who encourages my dreams? Who helps me become better? Spend your time with those people. Because when you walk with dreamers, you start dreaming bigger. When you walk with achievers, you start believing in yourself. And when you walk with people who live with kindness and purpose, your life begins to shine in ways you never imagined. At the end of the day, the people you choose are the mirrors of your future. Choose wisely, because your circle can either be your cage or your wings, and the right people will always help you fly.